Hello, this is Bonita DeRosa. You are about to listen to the Willis Hour, a segment on Lone Star Internet Radio, in which various city officials discuss news and information about the city of Willis. We encourage you to join in the conversation by contacting the city of Willis at 936-856-4611. You can also visit our website at www.ci.willis.tx.us for more information. Please enjoy the show.
Good morning. Welcome to the Willis Hour for March 3rd, 2016. This is James Nowak, Chief of Police for the City of Willis. I hope all of our listeners exercise their franchise and voted for the candidate of their choice Tuesday. A lot of our countrymen have sacrificed, and many do today, both here and overseas, to make that possible. So one of the best ways to honor them is to exercise your right to vote at every opportunity. If you're not registered, please get registered. We have an important election coming up in 2016. Of course, they're all important, but need to get out there and vote at every opportunity. And I don't want to use a cheesy segue from exercise into our topic today, but here we are beginning the third month of the year. I'm sure a lot of our listeners made a New Year's resolution to improve their life with exercise. So how's that going? Did you stick with it? Is what you chose not working out for you? Well, if you're like me, that's probably true. And so I had an inspiration to invite a guest today who worked with our city employees through the United Way pilot program last year at the city, where we looked at an employee wellness program. And from Lake Pointe Yoga, we have Melissa Hart Dobbs. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. And you have two of your new teachers with you hiding over here in the corner.
Yes, I'm so excited they made it today. I have Kelby Rumfolo. She's one of my teachers, and also Casey Bryan. So two of the best teachers in Texas. I'm really excited to have them here.
Great. Thank you for coming.
And back
young
in
ladies.
Texas, by the way, because Casey just got back from Australia teaching over there. So.
Oh, there's a program idea right there. Let me make a note. Trip to Australia.
And Kelby goes to the Caribbean quite often, so there you go.
Yeah, we had a cruise segment last month. So, but we'll have to talk about the Australia trip. So thank you all for being here, too. We're going to talk about yoga as exercise and stress reliever. I know it was an important stress reliever for me when we did it with the wellness program. I hope I didn't snore too loud when we were relieving stress.
Great. You did great.
It just felt like I was melting into the floor. That was nice.
That's great.
So to begin with, what is yoga? Where did it come from?
The word yoga actually means union or connection. And yoga actually was developed thousands of years ago. It is thought to have originated in India or thereabouts, but it has kind of expanded across nations all over the place. So it's been around a very long time, but yoga is a discipline where we try to connect our physical health, our mental health, kind of our vertical connection, and then our connection with others. That's how it's a little bit different than regular exercise, because we use our breath and our bodies to increase our strength, our flexibility, and our connection with others, and our vertical connection. So that's in a nutshell.
What do you mean vertical connection?
Sometimes we get questions about, what do you do in yoga? What do you say in yoga? Yoga, I've actually had a question. What religion do you teach in this place? Well, we don't teach a religion. There's no religion really associated with the practice of yoga. Now, on your own mat, you can draw in whatever connection that you wish, because that's where we draw our focus to. Your vertical connection may be to a Christian deity, or it may be to just well-being of those around you. Wherever you choose to connect, that's your spiritual connection, whether it be God or we don't invite direction to any deity. It's your choice on your mat. But that's all part of becoming connected, whether it's vertical or just to those around you in community. So,
okay. How did you get involved in it?
Well, that's a long story because I've been an
We had
adult
plenty of
exerciser.
time.
Okay. I was not an exerciser as a kid. I was just a run and play kid. So, but nothing scheduled. But when I was in my mid-30s, I was a single mom and I had 3 wild and crazy boys. And I had a great job. I was healthy. My children, thank goodness, were healthy. I had a beautiful home. We lived in a safe place. And I exercised regularly. But I felt so stressed out all the time. I felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. And as I'm sitting here running on that treadmill, the 2 miles, 3 and 4 days a week, I'm watching these people at the gym go into this new quote-unquote yoga class. Now, remember, this was a long time ago, and that was only, woohoo, yoga was for crazy people, okay? So I'm like, whatever. I'm not going into some crazy yoga class. But then I watched my friends go in and come out, and they loved it. Didn't know why they loved it, but they loved it. So I thought, I'm open-minded. I'll go in there. I'll give it a try. So I went and I took the yoga class, and many things were so familiar to me because I had exercise, because as a little kid I had done dance and just participated in PE. I recognized these things. I wasn't threatened, and I actually felt very comfortable doing the breath work, doing the physical body work in the yoga class. So I took the class, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. I feel good. But when I was driving home, something kind of hit me like a wind just right across me. That for about 45 minutes of that hour and 15 minutes, all of this stuff I carried around on me all day long. And mind you, I realize looking back now, I did have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and it was just life. There's just life. But all of that got off and went off on the end of the mat. And I was able to practice with the clear mind, not all of that hamster on the wheel stuff going on for the entire time of that 45 minutes, and that was a gift. And I was sold on it from then on. So for me, the first thing was not the physical and the flexibility part, but just the fact that my mind could have a 45-minute break. Just 45 minutes. Man, that changed my life, and that's how I got involved in it. And so you hear me preaching that all the time, don't you, girls? My girls hear me preach that all the time. So that's how I got into it. And then, but I practiced for 15 years, off, on, mostly on, before I became a teacher.
That's what I liked about when we were doing the stress stuff. During those few minutes while we were doing this pose or that pose, I was so focused on that pose, I wasn't thinking about the emails and the office and all of that stuff.
Exactly. The example I use is I was so concerned about not falling over that I didn't worry about my responsibilities. My focus right then was just listening to my breath and not falling over. And it paid off in spades at the end of class because you just felt much more, I felt much more refreshed, and I still do.
You know, one of the questions I have is, what are the physical and mental benefits of yoga, and have these been scientifically proven?
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a huge science nerd because I sold medicine and medical therapies for 14 years. So when you talk benefits of something, you better have some science behind it to back it up. There is an online website, and it's run by the United States National Library of Medicine and the National Institutes of Health, and it is called pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. If you want to find out what current or recent clinical trials or medical research are going on right now or in the last 10 years, you can go to that website. It is free. It's a public website, and you can type in any search terms you want. So just to give you an idea, we know, just anecdotally, yoga works great. People love it. But they're actually doing ongoing clinical trials and research to find out for all different kinds of health concerns. And when the numbers that I'm talking about, there are thousands of yoga research endeavors going on right now. But for instance, when you type in yoga and pain, 451 trials. When you type in PTSD, which is huge right now with our returning veterans, 48, because that's only in the last 3 or 4 years, and that is huge. Our returning veterans, they are having to transition back into this world, and using the old modalities of just meds and talking is not working. One of my peers in teaching yoga, she actually works for the VA in Virginia, and she is actively involved in studying how yoga works in helping with PTSD with our veterans, because guess what? They don't want to talk about it. Done talking about it. Don't blame them. So what they have found out is that by going and using medications to help level out their body chemicals, because those are directly affected by stress. Scientifically, we know this. But then allowing them to go to yoga and practice their breath work, it helps them regain control of mood, of their breath, and of their body. Because when they're in war, they're in control of nothing. Nothing. But when they come home, they've got to transition back. And they have found that by combining these two modalities, that yoga helps them regain control of themselves and their bodies and their moods, and gives them that sense of control and power back in their life. So, but those are some of the things. But also there are studies on yoga and pregnancy. Pain is very current right now. Yoga in treating pain. ADD and ADHD, lots of uses with kids. Autism is one of the newer ones, because we have this whole umbrella of the autism spectrum, which is now they say ADHD, but Asperger's and other things. So they're studying the many different ways that yoga can help these people focus and learn how to focus, learn how to self-calm. By learning to release tension. People don't realize. I had a private student the other day tell me after 2 classes, she said, I realize when I wake up, my teeth are clenched and my shoulders are hunched up. She goes, I didn't realize that until I started taking yoga, because part of that is being aware of our bodies and being mindful. And now she can work on releasing that stress and releasing the jaw, releasing the teeth. So clinically, medically, they're doing lots of current articles. There's a fabulous article that just got published in Prevention Magazine. They did the full center spread on yoga, about an 8 to 12 page spread. And Kathy Miller actually brought me the article. She's Dr. Miller, the chiropractor, his wife. She brought the article to me. And I do appreciate that, Dr. Miller and Kathy Miller, for bringing that to me. So right now, currently, yoga, it's not just in vogue, but medically, they're finding ways that yoga can help so many people. It's a very healthy natural medicine. And it's all backed up. You can go to PubMed and read some more about it.
You keep mentioning breathing. And at this class this weekend on vehicle defense and urban rifle, several people were martial artists. They were talking about breathing to maintain control under stressful situations. And Colonel Grossman, in his book on combat, talks about in the moment breathing to stay focused. So, and keep your heart rate down. So breathing's very important. Well, the Easter Seals had it right. When you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
That's exactly right. Breathing's real important. Keeps things going.
Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back and visit some more.
Okay, fantastic.
You're listening to the Willis Hour on irlonestar.com. Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com. Tune in to Chamber Chat with your host, Courtney Galley and Samantha Good, with the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley. Samantha and I will chat about the Conroe Chamber's upcoming events and programs for the month. Relax with a cup of joe or your favorite drink for Chamber Chat.
You're listening to the Willis Hour on irlonestar.com.
Welcome back to the Willis Hour. We're visiting with Melissa Hart Dobbs from Lake Pointe Yoga.
Hello.
There she is. Melissa, are there any age limitations or physical limitations for someone participating in yoga?
Well, that's a great question. There's an old saying in yoga that yoga is for every, period, body, period. It's
cool.
For every body. I've had people in their late 70s come to my classes. When we have our kids' yoga camp workshop during the summer, we have them come in as young as 4 years old. So as far as coming in, there is no number pretty much beginning or ending, especially there's no end number. As far as physical limitations, if you've recently had surgeries or certain things, we have people with hip replacements, double hip replacements, knee replacements, spinal fusions, any various number of things, high blood pressure. Those things don't stop you from coming to yoga, because at Lake Pointe Yoga especially, we adapt the pose to the body, because yes, sure, you can get hurt in yoga. Yoga is considered a sport, and just like in any endeavor, you can get injured. However, that's part of being mindful. We encourage everyone that comes in to really listen to their bodies. We know our limitations, and we have our safe places in yoga, and we learn those places. And it's not a competitive endeavor. We're not competing from one mat to the next. That's why we call it yoga practice, not yoga perfect.
Okay. Yoga is also used in physical rehabilitation as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's adaptable to, because one of the things that increases strength, increases flexibility, and you adapt it to your own personal needs. And some parts of our body, all of our architecture is a little bit different. So in class or in physical rehab, you can adjust those poses to whatever your personal architecture is or needs. So
it's
yeah,
low
absolutely.
impact or no impact?
It can be, sure, absolutely.
Unless you fall.
Absolutely. Unless you fall over, which doesn't happen too often.
Well, is yoga a good exercise program just by itself, or should it complement something else?
That depends on your own personal preference. We have CrossFitters that come in. We have a program at Lake Pointe Yoga called Lake Pointe Yoga Shares, and we had about 20 of the area triathletes who participated in the Houston Marathon recently. We offered a complimentary class for all these runners to come in, and we did some specialized training to show them some stretches and some breath work and some mindfulness techniques that could help them get ready for the race and then also after the race. So runners, CrossFitters, golfers, they use it as a complement to open up their shoulders. You hear all the time about professional athletes talking about it increases their flexibility. Dirk Nowitzki, is that the right? He's a big practicer of yoga, and he's a guy that didn't get injured too much in his career, because maintaining flexibility and having that rebound ability in your muscles to know how to fall or land or reach out successfully or correctly, it makes a big difference. Yeah. So you can use it with or alone, either one, just your own personal preference. How many days a week do you want to exercise? 7? 8?
Every day. Yeah.
That's right.
And the P90X, I'm sure you're familiar
There you
with
go.
that. But,
there you go.
The guy talks, if he wasn't doing yoga, he couldn't do the stuff that he does. And that was the first experience that I had practically with yoga was in the P90X.
And I've done that. It's a great program too. And yoga is part of it.
Okay. You were talking a while ago vertically, and I may have shared this with you, but as a Christian, I have a hesitation being involved in something that's Buddhist, Hinduish,
sure. I hear you.
New Age. How did you overcome that, and how have others?
I think primarily, like when I first started it, I mentioned, I didn't think I would feel comfortable with it because I had preconceived notions. But like a lot of things, we have to remember, yoga is not a religion. It's a discipline. And a lot of things come from other countries. Acupuncture, that's definitely a part of a religion. It emanates from that. Meditation. But you know what? Now in the United States, we've kind of drawn the best parts of a lot of these endeavors into a practice that is comfortable across the board. And every yoga studio is different. Recommend going and trying different ones. If there's a component at a yoga studio that doesn't make you feel comfortable, there are other studios. At our studio, we're what's called intention-based. What we try to do is draw an intention where you are either considering something for yourself, or, like I said, you can offer your practice vertically as a prayer of thanks for your blessings, or you can offer your practice as your consideration of someone else's health or well-being, but it gives you that focus and that connection. So you're connecting to something, whether it's your vertical power or your community with other people in there. But I think the most important thing to remember is go in and give it a try. And particularly at Lake Pointe Yoga, like I said, it's not a religion, it's a discipline. And that's how it's kind of evolved through the years. And it's kind of what we practice now is modern yoga, because some of the poses that we do are not poses. They vaguely resemble things that were created thousands of years ago, but we're not yogis that are sitting in the hills and mountains and caves. We're people that drive and work all day. So we adapt these poses, we adapt our practice, we adapt our mindset. So hopefully it just, what we do, especially at Lake Pointe Yoga, it creates a connection. So where you're feeling mind, your body, and your spirit, however you want to apply it, and that's your choice on your mat. We want to connect those things so we don't feel like we're floating around like a feather on a string or unfrom together. Our goal is to feel connected, and it's your choice where that is directed. So that's, like I said, 15 years ago, that was a different thought. But it's evolved, and we apply it to, our audience. And then so I think everyone that comes in, like I said, it's you are allowed to invite your religion, if that's your choice, onto your mat. But it's a non-comparative practice.
My mat's my mat. Your mat's your mat.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's It's your 71 inches of space right there. You get to stay on it, and everyone else stays off. Mentally, physically, all of the above. So,
okay. How does one become a yoga teacher? Is there a training and certification process?
It's a very good question. There are a lot of different ways. I require that my teachers have formal training. Not just I've practiced for years and I'm good at it. I'm really lucky. I have Kelby is a certified yoga teacher. She is certified through Yoga Fit. That's who I got my 200-hour registered yoga teacher certification through. Casey is a wonderful teacher. She has a 500 RYT, which that is formal education, and I'm registered with Yoga Alliance through the state of Texas. It's kind of like the formal association that if you want to give yourself credentialing and credibility and meet certain educational requirements, it's through Yoga Alliance through the state of Texas and nationally. So I require that anyone that teaches at my studio, that they do have certifications, and there's many wonderful, wonderful programs. Both of these wonderful young ladies that work for me, they both went through different programs. They found one that suited their schedule and their budget and their interests. So
is it like a classroom portion, or is it
there are many different,
or?
Well, it can have many of those components. You go to, like for instance, one particular school, it is done in modules. So you go and study component A, B, C, and D over multiple three-day weekends. Then you go and you can intern with a studio or do community service. And then you apply what you learn. And so it just all depends. There are many different wonderful ways to do it, but it is classwork, it's testing, it's learning how to verbalize a great class and cue people safely and correctly. And that's one of the biggest important things. You hear me say in the classes all the time, safety first. We really watch those poses and where people put their bodies. We don't want anyone getting injured. Secondly, it's true yoga. I have teachers who have spent their money and their time to learn how to be qualified yoga teachers. And so I'm really lucky to have these guys. So we demand a certain level of expertise, because I love the people that come in my studio. They hear me say it all the time. We have the most wonderful, interesting people walk in the door. And so I feel compelled that I have to provide quality teachers. Yeah. And so I got 2 great ones. So I'm lucky.
Awesome. At Lake Pointe, I know you have a number of different programs. Could you tell us about those?
Sure. Right now, we have classes 7 days a week. On Sundays, we have something called Stretch and De-Stress. It's at 4:30. If you have a little bit of experience to a whole lot of experience, we practice on some breath work and some poses and things. We do stretches that really are designed primarily to help clear the mind, de-stress our bodies. We have some faster paced classes, vinyasa, which are a little bit more athletic and faster paced classes. We actually, every Thursday, we've just started something called Theme Thursday, and this month it is called Yin. It's a certain style of yoga that helps access a really deep relaxation and a deep release of tightness in the muscles. So it's every Thursday. So go online, check out my website, lakepointeyoga.com, and read about it. And it's called Yin Yoga, and Casey's doing it. And then next month will be a whole different Theme Thursday, and Kelby will be doing that, and that's a bit of a surprise. So keep your eyes open. Check out our Facebook page. You'll see it's coming
She's looking surprised. What?
So we have beginners classes, we have intermediate classes, we have a little bit of something for everyone. We also have a couple of times a month a Yoga 101 class. 101, just exactly like what it sounds. You don't know a darn thing about yoga, or else you want to come and perfect your poses. But like I said, it's non-competitive. You'll come and you'll learn the most common poses in yoga. And then you'll just come see what it's about.
Okay. What should someone look for when choosing a yoga teacher or yoga program or location, studio?
That's
it is studio, correct?
Right, it is studio, absolutely. That is a really great question. Number one, the best thing to do is go to their website, kind of see how they present themselves, and see if you relate to that. And you can kind of tell by the quality of their website or what they have to say where that may be headed. So if you feel comfortable with that, go in, check out a class, and see if you connect with the teacher. And find one. I think it's just important really to find one that the teachers are certified or have registrations. It's really important because keeping our health, that's why we're doing this. So if we go to a studio that doesn't have a qualified teacher, we don't want to get ourselves hurt. But there are many wonderful studios in this county, in this area. So go try a class out. Give them a call. Talk to the people on the phone and see how it goes. Most classes at most yoga studios are an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. It's well worth the time investment. And it's always great if you live relatively close to one. So we're on 1097. We're 1 mile from I-45 at the 1097 exit. We're just 1 mile out from the Kroger Center. And we have a great space. We can accommodate about 15 to 17 people per class. And we have multiple classes a week. But that's the best way to do it. Talk to the people on the phone. Check out their website. And then just give it a try. It's the best way to do it, in person.
Okay. And if any of our audience want to contact you, how would they do that? Okay.
We'd love to hear from you. If you'll go to our website, lakepointeyoga.com, that's Pointe yoga, we have a contact us. You can also go to our Facebook page, Lake Pointe Yoga and Mo Yoga Boutique. You can also call our studio, 936-856-6260. So we are mostly open around the hours of our classes. So take a look online, see when our classes are. Give us a call. If leave a message. If we're not there, we'll call you right back. But the fastest way to do it is just give us an email, lakepointeyoga@yahoo.com. Or you can just, if you want to talk to me directly, melissa@lakepointeyoga.com. And we'll get back with you and answer any questions you have.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close out?
No, I'm just really excited. I think we have been open since December 4th of 2014, and I say this repeatedly. We have the most interesting, dynamic folks that walk through the door every single day, because everyone that's coming through there is looking to improve their health, whether they are 80 years old or 13 or 14 years old. They're looking to improve physically, mentally, and just feeling connected, just combining all of those components. And everyone is smart and dynamic and interesting, and it's just been a wonderful place. It's been a blessing to open this place. But we've been here over a year, and we've added different styles and different classes just to kind of accommodate our growing yoga practitioner base. So we've been really fortunate. But we've been thrilled to have everyone come in, and we'd love to have anyone that's listening. Come on in. Give us a call. We'd love to have you.
I know the city employees that participated enjoyed it. It was a neat, clean place, and you always made us feel welcome.
Well, thank you.
We appreciated that.
Thank you. We're very proud of it. We're very proud of our studio. Beautiful wood floors. We have a couple of mirrors in there so you can check, make sure you're doing your poses correctly. And we have mats and yoga wear that you can, give a try if you want. But in yoga, you don't have to have any certain type of clothing. Come dressed comfortably, and then you'll kind of figure it out as you go along. But
okay.
Appreciate you.
Kelsey and Kelby, y'all have anything? No? Y'all are good. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much for coming in. And
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sure.
We appreciate it.
Okay. Well, this will close out the March 3rd edition of the Willis Hour, and we'll see you in April.
You're listening to the Willis Hour on irlonestar.com.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last city council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today. So remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org. That's Junque for more information and store hours.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
Hi, this is BJ Orner from Montgomery County Performing Arts Society. I'm here to remind you to get your tickets now for all the upcoming events that McPass has to offer. All shows will be held at the beautiful Crichton Theater in downtown Conroe. Call 936-441-7469 for your tickets today, or go to our website, www.mcpass.org, for more information. Hope to see you at the show.
Welcome back here to the Willis Hour on Lone Star Community Radio. We're so glad to be with you today. I'm Lauren Swonke, and I'm with 1097 Willis Monthly News. And it's always so much fun to be here at Lone Star Radio and to be a part of the Willis Hour. It's just a pleasure twice a month as we come in here and share with you about all things Willis. And today it's a lot of fun to follow up Chief Nowak, and as he had in Lake Pointe Yoga, and Melissa there from that studio. Just a great Willis business. And it's always just a real treat to be able to come in and share with you about things that are going on in the Willis community and Montgomery County as a whole. And so today, just to be able to come in and follow up with Lake Pointe Yoga, a great Willis business right there in the Willis community, just a mile from 45, is just a real treat for me. Now today we've got lots of news to cover. There's a lot going on in the Willis community and a lot going on in Montgomery County. And I know here on Lone Star Radio you've been hearing a lot about what's going on in politics all throughout Montgomery County. We just had the primary on Tuesday, and so we're here today, and I'm going to follow up a little bit on that election and kind of project to the runoff that's coming up in May. And then also I have several events that I want to tell you about and some things that I want to recap that have happened within the last month. The March issue, you guys that are listening in today, it's really cool because you are actually listening in to information before it's even on the press out in the community. So the March paper, we come out on the first Monday of each, or the first Monday that is, of each month. And so here we are. I'm here a little bit early because the March issue of 1097 hits stands on Monday. And for those of you guys that get it in your box, you'll get it in your box next week. And so I'm here a few days before that to share with you some of the things that have been happening in the Willis community and project into the new month. And so here we are, the 3rd of March. It's always great to be with you here. And I'm just going to jump right in and talk a little bit about that primary. Now, Tuesday was the primary, and we saw just a lot of activity at those polls. It's hard to believe that there at the polls just how many people turned out. You know, I know at least for myself, I was waiting to see those results to be able to put together our story as we were going to press for the March issue, and it took a little while because there were so many people out at the polls that were in line before things shut down at 7 o'clock. The lines held things up, and so those people, of course, were allowed to vote, and we didn't have results for that primary until about 9 o'clock on Tuesday night. And so many of you, maybe you were sitting up watching TV and waiting for those results, and it took a little while longer. So I thought that was kind of an interesting piece to this primary election. Now, one of the big races in Willis, I know there's lots of important races to all of our listeners, and you guys might be from the Woodlands or from out in East County. or Montgomery. Really, this election was one that was really being closely watched by those that live within Precinct 1. And so if that's you, maybe you live in Willis or you live in Montgomery or somewhere in between, that you fall into that category. And the race is that of Precinct 1 Constable. Now, if you were watching that race and you felt like there was going to be a result that was going to come out that night and be final, we were a little bit wrong. And so, of course, there were 6 candidates, so it was projected that it was going to go into a runoff situation, and that is exactly what has happened. The 2 candidates that came out on top were Philip Cash and then Ike Fluellen, and so those 2 candidates actually are continuing on into the runoff, which is going to take place May 24th, and I know some of our listeners, and I was looking at, I was following blogs and, following on Facebook, looking at the different candidate sites, just kind of seeing what's out there, and I tell you, these candidates and their followers and their volunteers are chomping at the bit and really excited and energized to make it to that runoff in May. So for our listeners, be sure to get out. Don't forget about that. I know we're a couple months away, but it is going to happen, and it's May 24th runoff. That's between Philip Cash and Ike Fluellen. Now, just a quick recap before we go to break here in just a little bit. Philip Cash is commander of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Unit, and he's been with Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for most of his career. And then also Ike Fluellen, he's a former captain with Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. He has other experience as well in law enforcement, I believe 38 years in law enforcement. And so these are 2 very qualified candidates. I tell you, we had a hard decision to make in Montgomery County when it came to this race. And so, we had 6 very qualified candidates, and it ended up coming down to Ike Fluellen and Philip Cash. We'll see that runoff coming up on May 24th. A couple of other races that are also going to be included on that ballot in the runoff are those of District Judge in the 9th District. That came down to Phil Grant and Kate Shipman Bim, and then also the District Judicial Judge for the 410th District, Jennifer James Robin, and Kristen Bays. Those are going to be your candidates in those 2 races as well. Now, for those of you that are listening, you want to get a full recap on that election and see just who won and how Montgomery County voted. I think that's really interesting information. I encourage you to visit mctx.org/election. All of the results are there. They have it broken down between early voting and voting the day of Election Day. You can see who won by percentages. I just think that's great information, and I think for you to be a very informed voter is so important, as we could see in one of the races. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get ready to come back here in a few minutes from break, but just how important it is to be an informed voter. We have a little while before that runoff on May 24th, so you can use that time to research and to read. And then, of course, my goodness, that November election that's coming up, so important that we're informed and that we have that information in our back pocket to make the best decision possible, even in and especially in our presidential race. And so I'll be back here in just a few minutes on Lone Star Radio to share with you about a little more about Willis.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Welcome back here to Lone Star Community Radio. I'm Lauren Swonke, and I'm with 1097 Willis Monthly News. We're the community newspaper for Willis, and excuse me, it's always a treat to be here with you in the studio, sharing with you about what's going on in Willis and, of course, Montgomery County, because we know so many listeners are from all over this area, and so I just want to share with you a little bit about some events that are coming up in Willis. Now, just to kind of piggyback off of our last segment and to express how important it is to be an informed voter. There was one race that I thought was pretty interesting, and that was for the district judge in the 435th Judicial District. And all of us saw it on our ballot, and all of us, maybe you saw headlines leading up to that race. Now, here's the deal. Patty McGinnis, she ended up she earned a runoff position, but the gentleman that was her opponent that she would have been in the runoff with, he actually dropped out of the race. Mike Seller, he was the incumbent. He had dropped out of the race in February. The thing that was, interesting and that I think was important for our listeners to hear today is that he received 41.81% of the vote. So that means that 41.81% of voters that voted in that race were voting for someone that had dropped out in early February. And so I just want to encourage our listeners today to be an informed voter. That just, I think, shows how very important it is that voters are very informed. And so for Patty McGinnis, just congratulations on that race. And she's going to she'll be on the November ballot without an opponent. And so, of course, she's won that position, and that's super cool. But I just want to say how very important it is for our voters to be informed and to know who they're voting for, and to be informed on what's going on in the moment in these races. And so I encourage you to pick up your local papers. I'm not just saying that because I'm a newspaper person, although it's important for me. It's important for all of us. Pick up your hometown newspaper, whether it is Community Impact, the Conroe Courier, whether it's a Montgomery newspaper, whether it's 1097 in Willis. Pick up those newspapers, read them. You know what? There's a lot of news out there online, and you can glean so much just by doing a few Google searches, going into an election to see who you're voting for, what they believe in, and they're a little bit about those individuals. And so that was an interesting race to me, and I thought that it was important for you guys to be aware of that just shows how very important it is for us to be informed voters. So that's going to close out my wrap-up of the Tuesday primary, and I just want to encourage you, start your research now, because that runoff is coming up May 24th, and of course we have in November, we'll have a race, and whoever wins that Precinct 1 Constable runoff in May on the Republican ticket is going to go up against Thomas Mack, who is the Democratic candidate. So we'll have that race coming up in November. Start reading now. It's good stuff. Now, we've got some great information for you in the March issue of 1097, some very important information for you guys that live in the Willis community. One of those things, I wanted to give you a heads up about an event coming up tomorrow, and I always love to promote this event. This month especially so. It is the Farmers Market in Willis, and it's fairly new to the community. I believe it's about 6 months old, this Farmers Market, but it's called Market Days, and it's just a lot of fun. Montgomery County Market Days. It happens there on Bell Street, which is right by City Hall. It's right next door to Montgomery County Milling, and it's called Montgomery County Market Days. It's going to be happening tomorrow. So if you're listening today, it's happening tomorrow, March 4th, and that is from 1 to 6 p.m. They have all kinds of great vendors. We had Angel Young, who I'm super proud of and super excited to have working with us. She's an intern, and she's actually a Willis High School student. She went out and covered the last farmers market, and she did a fabulous job. She's got full pictures in this month's paper. It's on the front page, and information about those that are out at the market. And so I just encourage you to swing by there and check it out. They have a lot of really great products, and of course your produce and everything everything that you would expect at a farmer's market, but maybe some things you wouldn't expect too. So be sure to swing by there tomorrow, March 4th, and check out Willis Farmers Market. It's Montgomery County Market Days next door to Montgomery County Milling. Now, another important piece of information, Meadow Branch Library, maybe you guys have been noticing some construction there, and they are adding 2,400 square feet. It's a big addition that they've just placed there at Meadow Branch Library, and I think it's going to be a great thing for the Willis community. I had a chance to speak with Paul Lothman, who's the branch manager there in Willis, and he said that the majority of that space is going to be a children's area. So for the youth in the community, what a great addition. Yesterday, I tell you, I was listening, and it was Dr. Seuss's birthday. I heard on the radio, and they were talking about the importance of reading to your kids, and of course we all know it's important, but I tell you, if you can instill a love for the library at a young age, I think you'll see kiddos who are growing up with less tablets in their hands and maybe more reading going on. So I encourage you to go check out Meadow Branch Library and some of the changes that are happening there. They've just added 2,400 square feet. It's going to be, a lot of that will be a children's area, but it's also going to have some community space that's available there for community meetings and that type thing. And then the current children's area is being transformed into a computer lab. And so I'm just excited about those changes happening at Meadow Branch Library. They do a great job there, and I'm always excited to visit them and support what they do, and I appreciate what they do for sure. Now then, it is so great to be with you here today. I will be back with you guys later on this month, which is March 17th, and I'll be excited to join you here again, because I'm going to be telling you about some new things that are happening in the Willis community to help make jobs. There's something called Technology Development Center, and I had an opportunity to sit down with George Rogers, who's the founder of Technology Development Center. He's working on making jobs for folks as there's, an issue in the area with unemployment, and so he's working on helping people use their skills and abilities to really work for themselves. And so I'll be telling you more about that this month on March 17th, following up the recap of the Willis City Council meeting. And as always, it's just a pleasure to be with you here on Lone Star Internet Radio. And it's always great to be here. I'm excited about all that's going on with Lone Star, and it's always a treat to be with you guys. Be sure to pick up your copy of the March issue of 1097. It'll be on shelves on Monday, March 7th. And until next time, thanks for being with us today.